feel like Silver Surfer is a character that like all the OG comic book readers they really love, but I don't know about it. I read Requiem like a year ago. Pretty alright, but you know what? Ethan Sachs wrote this. He's currently writing Old Man Hawkeye. I love that shit, so you know what? I'm gonna give him a chance. Plus, look at this cover. Look at just downright metallic, and you know, I'm into surfing. I keep up with a little bit. Then we got Galactus chilling in the back here with some like screaming faces. I mean, it's subtle. It looks dope, but everybody just get ready to be disappointed. But also, I gotta tell you that this title far superior than what old Daniel Slott was doing. I mean, Daniel-san. What the fuck? How did you ever think that the goddamn Scooby-Doo font was gonna bring people in? That's just like, you put Scooby-Doo font is like on equal level of Comic Sans, basically. It alerts me that, hey, this shit probably sucks. You know, I'm a Scooby-Doo fan, I guess. I mean, isn't everybody? Like, is there anyone out there who's like, I fucking hate Scooby-Doo? They're just fucking... Just open up a private investigation office. Just so, let's get into this, and immediately you can tell the art difference. This is like, you know what it looks like? It definitely looks like an indie company art. Like, I know DNC says it all the time. I haven't watched his videos in a while, except for that Punisher one. But this is what it looks like. Kind of reminds me of Ice Cream Man. So we're on Zenn-La a couple of years ago, and this kid, Nora and Randy's like, so for choosing day, which, what the hell? How did we get worse at coming up with holiday names? Choosing day is worse than Arbor Day, and Arbor Day is like low-tier holiday. I declare I will explore the stars, like Andrel, the greatest of all heroes. By the Norin, I would send you there today if I could. Wow, teachers, they're getting really rough. Talking about just blasting this kid off into space. Why do you have to be so different? So, you know what? This made me realize that the cutoff for being an explorer, that shit, we can't even be explorers today. That shit was cut off like 2 centuries ago, at least 1 century. And I feel like now if you want to get into that sort of racket, you just gotta be a treasure hunter. And even then, skeptical. I mean, Discovery Channel's always having... Did those guys ever find anything on Oak Island? Like, what the hell happened there? I assume not, because it wasn't in the news, but I'm saying... You can't be an explorer anymore. It's done. You can be a treasure hunter. Even then, people are gonna say that you're ruining your own life. And so, like, the one step above treasure hunter is just like gold miner. And I mean, how successful are those guys? I used to watch those shows all the time in Discovery till I realized there's a distinct pattern to every single episode. Hey, we want the gold, we can't find the gold. Something happens with the equipment. They find gold probably, and it's either it's a surprising amount, either positively or negatively. So I'm sorry if you enjoy those shows, but I just cracked the whole thing wide open. So you can tell the teacher's just like, get to the back of the class with your ridiculous aspirations. Because I mean, this is like crazy future is what year it is, and you can't be an explorer. Even though I mean, Final Frontier, so shouldn't exploration in space, shouldn't that, you know, be a booming field? At least an idea, not just get the fuck out of here. So this kid's like, you know, it takes a lot of effort for me to want to kick your ass, so appreciate that I take the time to do it. And you know what, I'm glad to see the bullies did make a comeback. We all know that now this whole anti-bullying thing, it's just a phase. And it'll probably continue through our lifetimes, but at some point the tides are going to turn. And this girl's like, I believe in you. Thanks, Shala, which, again, bullies no longer, bullies exist. Everyone has a dumb name. Norin, what the fuck is that? So we see, oh, he eventually did achieve his dreams by becoming the Silver Surfer. And then just look at this art, because this is basically what I'm going to be pointing at. Okay, so look at this and you're like, alright, it's kind of small. It's like the size of a nickel maybe, so... I mean, it looks like an action figure, but it's small, so we can give him a little bit of leeway here. Who? One of these guys, not Sax, one of them. And you're like, alright, it just looks a little off, but then we look at this. Fuck off, dude. Look at this. This is an action figure. There's no fucking way that this is like so top heavy and the hips come out and it's like that's an action figure. There's like no actual man has this figure. Only plastic men have that figure. And then when you look at this and you're like, alright, that's a little bit better. That's fine. And then you see this, and again, we get these, like, weird hip creases that I swear to God, that shit. And then where the legs meet the hips. That's some action figure shit. And then we looked at Galactus, and he finds out that the only reason why the only thing keeping him going, really, is he has to find planets for Galactus, because if not, Galactus is going to eat his home planet, and that bitch he knew in 3rd grade is going to eat it, and he can't possibly deal with that. And then look at this Galactus. You know what I figured out Galactus is? Galactus is straight up the meme, or just not even the meme, just the real life situation of, what do you want to eat to a girl? And she's just like, I don't know. It's like, oh God. Galactus is that. He doesn't know what planet he wants to eat, he just knows he wants to eat a planet, and you gotta bring it to him, because he can't make these sorts of decisions at all. So he's talking about, how do I choose? How do I choose this life? And we see these, we got some Namex here, and then we got a whole planet full of mannequins. Somebody just had a lot of money, put some mannequins, dressed them up, populated the cities. Real world weird fetish shit. So he's just floating around. Look at these fucking burrito clouds. We got some Groots here, I guess, and we got some just sunburned people. People are always sunburned. I guess you would just say Florida. It's just Florida. He could have Galactus eat Florida. I mean, I feel like any state you could say is just fat as shit. So Florida, yeah, obviously. Florida is definitely fat as shit. But then he sees this planet. There's some music notes coming out of it, and then he takes a closer look, and it's like, oh, it's just bugs. Look at them, just fucking insects. And you see this bug, he's like, yo, I finally have mastered this technology called a bow and arrow, but I'll probably name it some sort of screaming language. And he's like, yo, check this shit out. Bam! And I mean, they got knives and shit. He's like, polluting their own planet to the point of ensuring their own extinction. I mean, yeah, bugs are gross. I'm still waiting for the tide to turn in America when we start eating bugs, because those things are like 80% protein, and the vast majority of the world eats bugs. I don't know if it's going to happen for America, but I'm just saying. Oh God, how many flies would it take for a 300-pound man to feel full? Like all the flies in existence? So we see him throwing stuff into lava pits, I guess, which, are we even better? I mean, do buildings still have furnaces? But they do have slabs where they work on their knives and stuff. They're too primitive to climb out of their cycle of war and hate. That's just like humans, man. No, yeah. See, I don't even know if the writing is really that great. It's not on level of my Hawkeye, but the art is just so, like... It really does look like the Ice Cream Man art, straight up. So we see, you know what, they're so primitive, they can't tell each other apart. Everybody's a friend, everybody's a foe. This guy's figured out how sticks work. He's trying to show his friend Harold here. And then this lady, she brought her baby egg sacs to the Thunderdome, and she's surprised that these guys get hungry, and they just start eating these things. All the while, don't forget, Silver Surfer's there. Wow, he's just laying that mascara on thick as hell. It would almost be a mercy to the universe to wipe them out before they find a way to infest other worlds. Yeah, you gotta just imagine a whole planet with a tent on it, because we gotta bug bomb this thing. So eventually, he makes the call to Galactus. He's like, yo, come wipe this out, because nobody's gonna miss these people. I mean, yeah, this guy's gonna miss this guy? I don't think so. This lady, presumably, is definitely not gonna miss any of these guys, because they're just slurping her babies down. I mean, 2? Honestly, do you need 2? So much protein there. That's all I'm thinking about. He gets blasted by some technology. He cannot believe it. And then we see this, which is just like... That's the body of a toddler who's on steroids. I don't understand it. What the hell's going on here? He cannot believe it. He's getting thrown around. He doesn't understand the technology. And we see these guys who are either red or in red suits, and they have visors. In primitive species, they don't have visors. Have you ever been in the jungle and you've seen some, like, beetle or something wearing a visor? Then you can't kill it because they're learning. Or you need to kill them because they're learning. I mean, if bugs start learning and they just turn the tides on the human race, wow, bottom of the food chain, there's simply too many of them. Then these guys, he's like, you know what, I need to get my fucking board and I need to get the F out of here, bro. Just look at that. That's supposed to be the Silver Surfer? Okay, man. And we see the bugs, they're entranced by the need to fucking shred, bro. They don't have any waves. I don't recall seeing any water. It's probably there, but they gotta throw some clay wheels on these things. They become the lost bugs of Z Planet, and then they realize, yeah, they should have been using polyurethane wheels the whole time, but they gotta go through the clay wheels first. That's just natural evolution. So he's using the board around, he's throwing it around as a weapon. Then these guys, they get like lightsabers. He doesn't understand. He's like, the technology, they don't have it, but they got it. And then we see, wow, look at that. That's just one long bug dreadlock he's got going here. We see our boy Silver. I don't even know if I can call him my boy, because I feel like he's just like a Dollar Tree action figure that your dad, who also huffs spray paint, was like, I'm gonna make it nice. I'm gonna make it nice for my kid. And then just huffing it. So he's in this like semi-permeable membrane where it can translate it, and he's like, oh, we can hear each other. Yeah, I bet bugs have really great conversation skills. They got a lot to talk about. And they start... Now is the time for singing, which isn't that the worst thing? Have you ever been at a party or something and somebody's like, hey, I got my acoustic guitar, I'm going to start singing. It's like, oh, could you just not? Could you just not? I'm trying to think of who I would like that. Like, I listen to a lot of bands. I don't know about just plain old singers. And I'm trying to think of one that's like relevant in pop culture. But to like the comic book audience, so I can't say like Beyonce, but just picture a singer that you actually like. If they're like, hey, I want to sing some of my songs. No, please don't. So just like you're in a foreign land, it's like, yeah, now's the time for singing. They start singing, he's like, my God, it's so melancholy. Listen closer. And then look, it's like coming out of his fucking throat, and this is where I get my $1 million idea. This is why I make these videos. Because it gets my brain a-cooking, and I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of this video. So, check this out. So, it looks like the notes in the singing, they're just coming right out of his throat. Very guttural, but it's beautiful. It's melancholy. Melancholy is a synonym for beautiful. So, take that, nerd. But here's the $1 million idea, right? You start cutting into people's necks. You start shaving their vocal cords. You start shaving some tracheas and stuff. Just shave it up. Put a couple dents in there. You know, put some decorative jewelry or something. Put it like, just throw a circuit board in there, like your fucking Zoe Quinn, who apparently puts implants into her arms. She's a genius. She's living in the year 3018, to be honest. But I'm just saying, because how many girls think they can sing? Every goddamn one of them. Straight up. I mean, even if I was in a moment of peril and they're like, can you sing? I'd be like, I sing so well that the world isn't ready for it. I feel like more women do that than men, but, you know, there are definitely some guys out there like, I can sing, I can rap, and it's like, nah, man. But I'm just saying, you could definitely market this. Just start shit. If you want to be a better singer, Because those people, they don't want to hear that they can't sing. It's like, you can just be better. Instead of taking vocal classes, which totally suck balls, I mean, it's got classes in it, just have some unnecessary surgery to just, like, trim that stuff up in there. I mean, I don't... Get your diaphragm widened or shrunken? I don't know. That's it. That's the idea. I feel like it's highly marketable. So he cannot take... I just have to show this because it's pretty funny. It's so overwhelming me. What did you do to me? And he so much pain, I will not listen anymore. And then it, like, looks at the surfboard, but it has these, like, anime lines here, and it's almost like the surfboard is like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm also freaked out. So he leaves. He sees this huge colony. He sees this lady who wrapped her cocoon baby into another cocoon. Another sign of intelligent life. They've got buildings. I mean, the guys on the surface, they don't have buildings. This lady, I'm pretty sure, she's got pants on. That's how we know if someone is primitive or not. You're rocking a loincloth, you gotta go, because your ideals are not going to be progressive enough, and nobody wants to take the time. So eventually he realizes that their songs are from the beginning to the end, and they're like, hey, you have to learn our song, because you're going to be singing the last verse, because you're going to murder us all, and we get it, but it sucks. But I do have to point this out. Holy shit. Okay, so since I do videos on some old comics, I see these old newsprint of, like, X-Men, and they have these little tiny boxes and huge checklists, and they're like, hey, you could save $12. And I'm like, I'd like to save $12. But look at this. This looks like a sign-up sheet at a freshman orientation, or sign up for some terrible classes at a church. It's just, look at this. I can make something cooler looking in paint. Terrible. And it's like a D&D character sheet or something. I've never seen one of those in real life ever. So we see Riri, she's a neutral good, which I think we can all say, the very least, Riri is chaotic good. She's got 23 experience points. What the fuck does that mean? She's level 5. I don't know. She's a paladin. What's that? I don't know. I feel like I don't know what a paladin is, but when I picture Riri, she isn't a paladin. Definitely not a healer. But I'm just saying, this looks awful. Like, if this is trying to get some D&D people to read some champions, I think you failed. I think you didn't do so fine. And then, you know, so Norrin Radd, Silver Surfer, he's like, I can't, you guys have got songs. We gotta record these things, because I can't remember. It's a lot of verses. You've been here a while. And then Galactus comes, and it's just so, like, Galactus looks like he's regular size. It looks like Silver Surfer is tiny. This is Galactus emerging to eat this whole planet. And it looks like that. I mean, a lot to be desired. He tries to prevent Galactus from eating it, and Galactus is like, yo, dog, this is the deal. So he takes Silver Surfer's memories from him, and then it cuts back to him being like, oh, it's just a bug planet, we can have it. It loops around. I don't know, man. From what I can tell, it seems better. If Sax is going to be writing Silver Surfer, I feel like it's better than what Dan Slott was doing, but imagine if the cover artist did the interior. Wow. So you know what, if you're an ear, nose, and throat doctor, hit me up. I will get in there, I will start karate chopping some vocal cords, or we can just put them under anesthesia and do nothing. And say we did. And nobody will find out. Nobody will find out that we're completely defrauding people. Or we can just get in there and just, like, start tying stuff together that normally doesn't go together. I don't know. We gotta make pop stars.